We're rolling. Well, we're not rolling.
False start.
False start. And we're rolling.
Hi, my name is Michael.
Hi, Michael.
So 2 of my uncles are addicted to heroin. Very early in my life, I learned what a heroin high looks like. They become unresponsive, disoriented, and sometimes immobile, as if they are living and breathing statues. This was commonplace in my life. My Uncle Alfred would be laying on the grass constantly. My Uncle Rica, Ricardo for short, would just be a little statue in the kitchen. And every day I would walk around them like furniture. Last year, I was home for Christmas break, and my Uncle Alfred died of an overdose. In the United States, overdose is the leading cause of accidental death, right besides car accidents. 88% of those deaths occur with other people present. Everybody was home when my uncle died. A heroin overdose happens when heroin reaches the opioid receptors in your brain, overflows with morphine, and your breathing just slows and slows and slows until it stops. Naloxone is a drug that can be administered to people experiencing a heroin overdose that will bring them back, that will revive them. But it is not available for public distribution. Today I want to answer the question of whether the United States should expand access to naloxone to combat with the rise of heroin overdoses in the United States. Should the United States expand access to naloxone? I say yes, they should. And I will give you 4 reasons why. 1, because naloxone works. 2, because naloxone is not an abusive substance. It is inexpensive, number 3. And number 4, the safety net argument that naloxone would encourage users to use more because they have something to bring them back is invalid. Speaking on my first point, naloxone works. Naloxone works by displacing the heroin in the brain and bringing back the respiratory functions and bringing people who are overdosing out of sedation. The World Health Organization has said that 69,000 people will die a year of a heroin overdose. And naloxone has been used by healthcare providers for over 30 years. The health department in 2012 actually wrote a public letter to the FDA asking them to release naloxone for over-the-counter use, as it is in Italy. And it's even endorsed by the American Medical Association. On my second point, that naloxone has no abuse potential. Unlike methadone and buprenorphine, which are 2 other opiate substitutes that are used to wean people off of heroin addiction. Naloxone is an opiate antagonist without addictive properties and will restore breathing and sedation. And it can be administered by needle or nasal spray by anyone. So anybody can be trained and anybody can use it, and safely. Its only side effects are moderate withdrawal symptoms from addicts, but it does nothing to non-opiate users. Third, it's inexpensive. 1 dose of naloxone costs between $1 to $6 in the United States. And in comparison, CPR training they spend millions of dollars, the United States spends millions of dollars in CPR training every year, with little retention from the people who take it, and little use of it later. And people who do receive CPR training from those who are trained rarely survive. A pilot study was done by Dr. Karen Seal at the University of California in San Francisco. She recruited 24 heroin addicts who have experienced overdose in the past, and she recruited 891 lay people to train them in CPR. The 24 heroin addicts were trained in the distribution of naloxone, and in 6 months there were 20 resuscitations via naloxone with 100% success. And none of those resuscitations were from the participants. For the CPR training, in 6 months, not one person performed CPR on a live person. This brings me to my final point, the safety net argument, that naloxone will encourage users to use more. According to New York Times author Robert Hoffman, arguments that widespread distribution of a safe, effective, and inexpensive drug like naloxone is like suggesting that airbags and seatbelts encourage unsafe driving. The same study discussed before with the 24 heroin addicts, that study actually showed that a training in naloxone distribution actually decreased the use of heroin. And this was not because they trained them on where to get help or to use less. The training was just on how to distribute. The researchers believe this was because they worked with past OD experiences and they learned what it could do to them, and thereby making the users want to use less. In summary, I've shown you 4 examples of why I believe naloxone should be why I believe the United States should expand access to naloxone in order to fight the overdoses of heroin. It works. There's no abuse potential, it's inexpensive, and the safety net argument is invalid. There should be no doubt in this room that naloxone is effective. And though the issue of drug abuse as a whole should be tackled, not everybody is ready for the path of rehabilitation. And we need to help those who are struggling. Perhaps if my family was trained to distribute naloxone, perhaps my uncle would have been here today. Perhaps he would not have. Let's give other families that chance.
6:55.
Hi, Mary again.
Hi, Mary.
I really liked the example of the seatbelt and the airbag. It brought to light it in a very new way. I also learned a ton. I've never heard of this. I mean, of course I've heard of overdosing, of people overdosing, but I've never heard of this drug, and very informative. Good personal story.
Mm-hmm. Made it come alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, please.
So we're organized.
Start with your name.
My name is Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, so we're organized speech, and maybe you need more passion to deliver that one. Yeah, I think that's the.
Okay, fair enough. We felt your passion in the beginning with your family that you talked about. That was very serious stuff and very personal. Excuse me. And I appreciate you having the courage to share that with us. That was a very authentic moment. I like that. I like you giving us the context of what happens when someone overdoses on heroin and the respiratory dimensions of it. That was good. I liked how you cited the dates of your evidence in the article, with the article orally, and so that was good. Your thesis was strong, and you had 4 points, not 3, so you really made a strong case. And you appealed to people saving lives, and that's a good appeal. That's a good, significant statement as any. That'll do just fine. On your first point, that the drug will work, you made your case by giving the numbers on how many die each year, how long it's been used, and that the American Medical Association, a very conservative organization, has even endorsed it. So that was pretty good stuff. No potential for abuse. This is always the worry that some people have anyway with this stuff. Inexpensive. That was a good point. So we're not talking about the cost of this. And then the safety net was good. Your summary was fine. Your conclusion. Now, her suggestion was that you have more passion. What do you think? How do you think you could have invoked more emotions into this, or made it more sticky, as it were?
More emotion?
More emotion than was already there.
Or to be perceived, like to have the audience feel.
To have the audience feel, yeah. Be more passionate about your advocacy.
Well, I guess I could have included more personal notes on the actual arguments instead of just the introduction and tieback.
Yeah, more in the middle, more personal stories in the middle maybe would have worked. I'm not so sure, but I think just some personal plays. Doesn't it make sense? So for so little money we can save so many lives. Doesn't it make sense that we do this? You know, some kind of passionate in play like that might have worked. But overall, you did a very nice job, and you went under time, so you did your job. Thank you. Okay, next. Someone else. We have volunteers just springing up. The battery's running down. Pi Beta Phi. You've got an advertisement on today.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, great. Okay, she's managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tasha.
Hi, Tasha.
So, I'm sure we can all relate to the childhood experience of going to Blockbuster. Yeah? We'd all go on a Friday and pick out one movie. 2, we behaved well and we're lucky. And got to take it home for the weekend, and it's amazing, right? Well, if you don't know, Blockbuster is gone. The company is pretty much gone. Except for some odd 50 stores in Texas owned by the Dish Network. But they don't really count. So, imagine today, though, if Blockbuster made a comeback. Like maybe they had a new store, a new online format for, digital DVDs. That'd be cool, right? That'd be a comeback for the, for the year. So what about JCPenney? What do you guys think about that? Could JCPenney make a comeback? Well, according to a Forbes article by Maggie McGrath from March 2014, she asked the question, and the question is, is JCPenney the next great American comeback story? Again, I repeat, is JCPenney the next great American comeback story? My answer is that no. No, it's not the next great American comeback story, and I will show you 3 reasons why. First, in the past several years, very recently, JCPenney has gone through a sea of troubles that don't support this statement at all. Second, the financial records do not support that JCPenney is making its comeback or has succeeded in doing so. And third, let's actually discuss what it means to make a comeback. So, why should you guys care? So, about JCPenney. Has anyone been recently? I hadn't, and I can't make a speech without really walking in, so I went to JCPenney in the past couple weeks. And what I found is pretty interesting. JCPenney on their line says they have 1,100 stores nationally. And the one that I went to, right here in the Los Angeles Valley, in Woodland Hills, it was kind of empty, things were out of place, there were sections that were just completely dark. It basically was a mess. It did not compete with other big department stores. Maybe it was just the location I went to. Maybe they're revamping and they're doing so slowly, but maybe not. There's 1,100, who knows? So, but why should you guys care about JCPenney? Well, we're all consumers. Whether you stay in your house all day and, maybe pass by some mail with an advertisement, turn on the television, you're going to see an advertisement. You're going to have to think, oh, will I want to buy that? Will I not want to? Or whether you leave your house, the second you step outside, even without spending money, you're subjected to consumer information. It's important to know where you're buying your items. Whether for JCPenney, whether you're going to be investing in their stock or investing just by buying a sweater from the local store. It's important to know where you're actually buying things from. So, my first reason why JCPenney is not the next great American comeback story is that they have so many troubles in the past few years. Starting in 2011, this is when Bill Ackman, huge money mogul who invests in many companies, he just decided that he was going to invest and then was like, oh great, no, this is horrible, never mind, run away. Then their CEO, his name is, Myron, he he left the company. He realized how bad things were going and just left. This is after years of declining sales. So then they bring in Ron Johnson, who worked at Apple, to be the CEO, 2011. 2013, they fire him and blame him for everything that's gone wrong with JCPenney. And Myron Ullman comes right back, the guy who left JCPenney because he thought it was a failure. He comes back to try to save the day. So really, with all this change of leadership leading up to 2013, it's only 2014. This is pretty recent. These are a lot of problems. I feel that with all this sea of troubles, JCPenney is not making its comeback, at least not anytime soon. So my second reason that JCPenney is not America's next great comeback story is that the financial records don't really support that. So according to Forbes, this Forbes article that it's from, they have had a net loss in 2013, a net loss of $1.4 billion. That's huge. Also, their stock is up a little bit right now to $10, but it used to be $80 a share. So CNN Money commented on this, and they said, you know, that share is nothing what it used to be. And also, it's not just the issue of share. You know, what the problem is, you actually have to have consumers come into your store and buy things to make a profit. That's another issue. So the financials do not really support that JCPenney is having some financial success. So my last reason why JCPenney is not America's next great comeback story is that you actually have to kind of have demise or go away to have a comeback. So I looked up what a comeback is in Merriam-Webster dictionary. And in the dictionary, it says that it's a return to a good condition, or a return to popularity, or being fashionable. And lastly, it's winning after defeat. I didn't find JCPenney really being any of those things, at least not quite yet. So I don't find that it is, you know, a return to being something super popular. I haven't, you know, you guys haven't been. That's a pretty clear indication that it's not the most popular place right now. Also, it's not really a return to a good condition. I went, the store was empty. It's not doing really well. And so I can't really support that as a comeback. If the companies like Blockbuster I mentioned earlier, or maybe the Hummer, remember the Hummer, remember Borders Bookstores or Circuit City? Those are companies that have completely been wiped away. If those came back and were successful, I'd call that a comeback. So, in summary, I have given you 3 reasons why I do not believe that JCPenney is not America's next great comeback story. There's a huge sea of troubles. There are no financial records to really support a comeback. And like I said, it hasn't actually gone away. It's just kind of lingered in a bad place, you know. So, you know, JCPenney may not be making a comeback. There should be no doubt in this room that JCPenney is not America's next great comeback story. And so maybe it will be, though, one day. I mean, tying back to my beginning, you know, maybe it'll go away and then come back and be great. I actually went on the company's website, and they're trying to refocus their efforts to be a children's clothing and toy store. So, you know, maybe they'll be successful with that. Let's check back in a couple years, and we can reassess the situation of JCPenney.
Thank you. 5:49. Okay, we're somewhere back here.
Hi, I'm Christy, and I thought you did a really good job. You were commanding, and like I liked your start with Blockbuster because that's something we can all relate to. And you spoke very well and without any notes or anything. I thought you did a really good job.
No, improvement.
The only thing.
Start with your name.
Oh, hi, I'm Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
I think you started your tieback for Blockbuster a little early, and then you drifted off to other stuff. And so, just I guess if you're following the prompts, like end on the Blockbuster note, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was kind of a false ending. That was interesting, though. Tasha, I like your speech. I like your energy. You're a good speaker. You took us a walk down memory lane with Member Blockbuster and all that. So that was good. And your segue to JCPenney was a little abrupt, but you somehow got us there. And so it's tricky to segue from your intro to JCPenney's. I don't know how to smoothly get to JCPenney's, honestly, but you did it, so that was good. You took a position of no, and you had your 3 reasons. And I really particularly liked your significant statement, and I think this speech in particular called for a 3-paragraph significant statement, because I think on the surface, most people were sitting back here going, oh my God, J.C. Penney's, what a yawner. You know, this is going to be boring. So I think the fact that you visited it was interesting, got us to care about, you know, the community and jobs and that sort of thing, and something we want to invest in. We're all good calls to get people interested. On your first reason that there's been this massive, revolving door of leadership, Myron Ullman was his name. You couldn't quite pull that one out, but that was you had good command of the revolving door of leaders, and then back came Myron Ullman, and and in a way, it just doesn't portend well for the company's future. So that was a convincing argument that leadership is lacking. On your second argument that the financial records don't support it, again, you had good evidence cited with the year and the date, and so that was good. And then you went to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, so we were all clear what a comeback actually meant, and then you showed that the J.C. Penney's didn't meet that in any way, shape, or form. So I thought that was pretty effective. You had a little false start in your conclusion by making an allusion to Blockbuster early, but that was no big deal. Your goal was to stand straight, speak slowly, and remember all the facts, how to go.
I think I could have stood straighter.
Why, you think you have a posture problem?
Yes.
Who tells you that? Your dad?
Doctor.
The doctor.
So there's that.
Okay.
I think I did a better job speaking slower.
Okay. I set the timer a little late. I think you had a little time left, so I think you could have slowed down even more and been more emphatic in places. But overall, you did a good job. Thank you. Okay, next. We're done there. The battery's wearing down. Who's next?
I'll go.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you, Haley Barber. Okay. She's managing attention. He's charging his phone. Communicating respect. Non-verbally. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Haley Ticknoyer.
Hi, Haley.
When Malaysian Airlines jet MH17 crashed over a territory controlled by pro-Russian separatists, killing 298 people, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine drew national attention. Western nations said there was evidence that the plane was hit by a Russian-supplied missile fired by rebels, and Russia blamed Ukrainian government forces. With this and the recent annexation of Crimea, the Western nations have been attempting to intervene in the conflict in Russia. Today I will be discussing how effective U.S.-led sanctions are over Russia's aggression with Ukraine. I believe U.S.-led sanctions are not effective. First, I will start by discussing what these sanctions are and the purpose of them. Secondly, I will discuss the sanctions implemented and the results. And lastly, I will discuss what will happen if these sanctions continue to be executed. All of which will show you that these U.S.-led sanctions are not effective. Again, I believe that these U.S.-led sanctions are not effective. International reactions to the 2014 Crimean crisis have been critical of Russia's decision to intervene. Supportive of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, while also supportive of finding a quick end to the crisis. The United States and the European Union have enacted sanctions against Russia for its role in the crisis, and urged Russia to withdraw. First off, since Russia's annexation of Crimea, the United States have been issuing a series of retaliatory sanctions all against particular Russian individuals. The original U.S.-led sanctions were against 11 executives and politicians, specifically Vladimir Putin's innermost circle. Amidst criticism from the EU and other nations, the U.S. Treasury has updated their sanctions list, and now it's been bumped up to 20 Russian officials. The sanctions include 16 government officials. The Treasury has also prevented United States banks and individuals from doing business with Bank Russia as the bank is associated with Putin's inner circle. Still, no actual trade sanctions were issued against the country as a whole. The European Union has also joined in, sanctioning a total of 30 officials, banning visas and freezing assets. Putin has also retaliated with his own sanctions. Moscow has responded with restrictions and retaliations against U.S. lawmakers. While they serve as useful shows of diplomatic strength, they have been largely pointless. Perhaps that's because if more restrictions come, they could be as bad for the West as they have been for the Russians. This leads me to my second point. None of these sanctions are having any major economic implications for either side, and though the fear is there that something worse could happen. The Crimea conflict has affected Russia's uber rich. According to a Time magazine article written in September of this year, an estimated $6.6 billion in 1 week, mostly due to failing stocks, is lost. But these particular sanctions do not affect their general spending or investments in the United States. Billionaire New Jersey Nets owner Mikhail Prokhorov is one of those billionaires caught between two worlds, as his stock wealth has taken a huge hit in recent weeks, and he's been frustrated in his efforts to transfer the ownership of the team to a Russian-based company in compliance with Putin's laws. While Russia's wealthiest politicians are technically not allowed to keep investments overseas, a fair amount of Russian money has been invested in the United States economy. Since 2012, $1 billion in residential real estate in the United States has been purchased by Russian buyers. As long as the sanctions are against government officials rather than general economic sanctions, Russian money can keep flowing into the United States as usual until further notice. Lastly, if full-blown economic sanctions are issued and President Obama has threatened to target Russia's financial, energy, and mining industries, there could be more serious consequences. Yes, Russia's wealthiest will be locked out of billions in real estate, along with other lucrative United States-based investments. And they might be the only ones able to wield any influence on Putin's decision-making. But that also cuts off a major source of funding to the American real estate market as well. Similarly, much of Europe and the United States would be affected by hits to Russian-dependent resources, which include mainly oil and natural gas. Russia exports 130 billion cubic meters of gas to the EU, much of it through pipelines that run through Ukraine. A sanction against Russian natural gas would cost the country $70 billion, or roughly 3% of their GDP, While this would hurt Russia, it could all potentially crush the nation's EU, as 30% of their energy comes from their eastern neighbor. Some nations are more heavily dependent than others. For example, 55% of Greece's energy comes directly from Russia. It isn't just Europe either. Economic sanctions against Russia would directly impact some of America's largest companies, namely Morgan Stanley, Chevron, and the most profitable one, which is ExxonMobil. If oil and natural gas wasn't enough of an issue, economic sanctions would also affect space, as Russia holds a key link to the International Space Station. Any Americans planning on stopping by the International Space Station would not be able to. According to an NBC News article written by Eric Ortiz in March of this year, Russia is the only country to operate a space shuttle that can take astronauts to the International Space Station. So will this whole thing will the March of Science halt in Crimea? In summary, I have shown you what sanctions have been authorized, the results of the sanctions, as well as what will happen if these sanctions continue to be proposed. Although none of these truly punitive economic sanctions have been issued, I have no doubt that as long as Russia has such a large stake in the world's oil and natural gas market and their pipelines continue powering the vast majority of Europe, any true economic damage will surely be more than just Putin's inner circle. The West knows they have much to lose if they do enact more sanctions, and those enacted would not be beneficial. The MH17 Malaysian flight earlier this year caused much tension in Ukraine and Russia, and the continuous sanctions issued are now causing tensions all over the world. With this and the evidence I provided, I firmly believe U.S. sanctions are not effective.
607. Thank you. Haley, thank you for respectfully waiting outside. Yes, please.
My name's Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
I thought you were really well researched and that you had a lot of evidence backing up your claims just about exactly what the repercussions of the sanctions are.
I got some evidence there to support our claims. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Tasha.
Hi, Tasha.
Again, I completely agree. It's great. I would say just less of paper.
Memorize it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slow down a little.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh boy. How do we get you from to stop reading and to be extemporaneous and to treat this like a speech class and not, or a comm class and not an English class? What do we need to do?
I feel like I could probably use less data and then be easier to memorize.
Yeah, do some editing and slow down. Yeah. Well, let's look at your arguments real quick. But the big thing was just you were reading your fanny off, and you were just a mile a minute, and so you didn't let a lot sink in. But it was well argued, Haley. Don't get me wrong. You started with the Malaysian crash over the pro-Russian separatists killing 298 people, and you basically said that there was evidence that it was hit by a Russian-supplied missile, and so you pretty much laid it to the hands of the Russians, which most of the world believes, which I think was the correct way to go. But the sanctions really started with the invasion of the annexation of Crimea, as it's euphemistically called. The sanctions you gave, you said there are 3 reasons why they're not going to work, and you had your preview, which was fine. You said that your first reason was that there weren't enough executives, I guess, and that the retaliation against that Putin has put in was kind of pointless. On your second point against the uber rich, you had this idea that it was going to hurt investment in the United States. And I think in particular Britain. There's a lot of money flowing to London from Moscow in particular. The energy thing I thought was your best argument because, those winters get cold over there. I don't know if you've been to Europe in the winter, but it's not like in California. And, a lot of those countries are real dependent upon that natural gas for heat. So overall, you made good arguments, and you had a good summary, conclusion, and tie back, and you read it within 6 minutes and 7 seconds. You had 3 quotes. I think you could have had some more research. I don't agree that you had enough. What did you get out of watching yourself last time? Let's spend a little time on that, and then we'll end. What did you get seeing yourself on YouTube?
I mean, I spoke quite quickly last time, and I don't think I changed that. I just haven't been able to figure out how to slow down, I guess. So
yeah, okay.
Hopefully for the next
hopefully your next speech you'll be able to slow down, and if you have somebody that you practice with and you can have them hold their hand up and prompt you to slow down, that would be good. Otherwise, you did a good job. You got it done. Thank you. Don't read next time. Excellent.
Here's my.
Thank you.
I have both. Those are the evaluations.
Yeah,
Those are the evaluations from last time.
Yeah, how'd it go?
Fine.
What did you think of yourself?
I hate watching myself. I've always hated watching myself in a video or like anything I've ever done. And then,
really?
Yeah. But it was fine.
Did you grow?
I hope so.
That's good right there. We're rolling. Okay, he's texting.
No, thank you.
It's ridiculous. Okay. She's going to roll.
Hi, I'm Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Sure, nobody's perfect. I mean, I came up here to give a speech. I'm supposed to be credible, seem knowledgeable on a topic. But I bet every single one of you is still thinking about the fact that I just tripped or did something wrong. Now, the same thing is applied to presidents. In today's day and age, it's really difficult for a presidential candidate or hopeful to overcome any past blunders or scandals that haunt him. And I want to say that this is not a good thing to do. When a president is running in these days, everyone makes mistakes, but the bigger mistake that we'd be making is to not overlook them and give them a chance for redemption, or a chance to speak their mind, or spread light on the issues they want to take care of. And so, I'm here today to speak on behalf of New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. He is 55th Governor of New Jersey and represents the Republican Party. And to keep it short, he's had a few scandals that have come to plague him and that come to mind when people think of him. Most recently, a scandal on the George Washington Bridge where the lanes were closed. Certain lanes were closed and made so there's only one lane to go across. And he's been blamed for a bunch of things, but I think we need to look at these in a different light and give him a chance to redeem himself. And so today I'm here to answer the question that, with his eyes set on running for president, how is Chris Christie's rehabilitation campaign going? Again, with his eyes set on running for president, how goes Chris Christie's rehabilitation campaign? And I'm here today to say that I think it's going positively. And I have 3 reasons for my point. The first is that he's a different type of Republican, and so far he's been able to appeal to the Democrats and Republicans and create more cross-party cooperation. Secondly, he has been named head of the Republican Governors Association and embarked on a wide travel excursion where he's been able to increase his donors and cultivate cooperation with many Republican top figureheads. And lastly, my argument is that he's a new type of president. He represents a change from Obama and the status quo and what we have right now, and has shown to have substance and be a man of value. And so, why is this important to us? Well, this man could be our president. So we want to look at what he's doing during his rehabilitation campaign right now, because there are foretelling signs of what he would want to do if he were to be elected in 2016. And so the policies, the ideas he has are going to shape our lives as we live as everyday citizens in America. And so this is why it's important. So back to my points. My first point is that Chris Christie's campaign is going well because he has long-touted bipartisan appeal. He has a no-nonsense style, and that would led him to be named the head of the Republican Governors Association, according to the Christian Science Monitor in 2014. And with this position, he's been able to get a lot of donors, raise a lot of campaign funds, and create connections if he were to run in 2016. Now, we need to repair confidence in our broken political system. We have extremists in both political parties who encourage competition and dysfunctional organization instead of cooperation. And 7 out of 10 independents say that they want compromise over this increased confrontation of the parties. And the Huffington Post in 2014 says that we need to emphasize a new breed of GOP leaders, and that Chris Christie, his campaign has had a strategic purpose, and he's worked with Obama recently and supported Obama, creating connections to the Democratic affiliates, and he's also could be the kind of guy who would appeal to different ethnic races and different social affiliations who have not always been on track and really supportive of the Republican Party. And he may be a conservative to New Jersey standards, but he's actually a moderate in many people's eyes, and a lot of the people who believe he is moderate vote heavily in the Republican primaries. And he's proven that he knows how to execute change. He's done well as governor of New Jersey, and he might be the right guy in the right place right now to make the GOP more viable to the majority of American people again. Now, my second reason is that he's charted an artful comeback, according to the New York Times in 2014. He has, through his perch as the head of the Republican Governors Association, in the past year he has traveled to over 37 states and supported 35 Republican gubernatorial candidates. He raised $75 million for Republican gubernatorial candidates, as well as $102 million for just the Republican Party itself. And as he's done so, he's been able to cultivate a lot of donors, interact with a lot of Republican spearheads, and create a better name for himself. Now, the Wall Street Journal went in depth on his recent rehabilitation campaign that he's been on. And first, he did a lot of visits to a lot of vital states that would be important if he were to run for president in 2016. Now, first, he did a lot of hyper-local visits throughout New Jersey and did like photo ops and various little things in New Jersey just to create some support there. And then he moved on to doing huge events with the Republican Governors Association, where he cultivated a lot of donors and a lot of support for himself and his party. And this also gave him a chance to talk and be in the media and come down on Democratic opponents like Obama, and also the media vultures, especially the liberal media vultures, who continued to come down and attack his image and halt him from being able to redeem himself, just like I'm still trying to redeem myself from tripping up here. And so the New York Times says that he has had a successful run, and the Republicans were able to retake the Senate, increase their hold over the House of Representatives, and expand control of the state houses from 29 to 31. And so after these elections, he was doing so well that he did a victory lap on 5 morning shows and said, "I'm not going to change. This is who I am." So even though he's made past mistakes, we can forgive him of those because he's ready to go on to the future and better himself from now on. Now, my third reason is just that he has substance. He is a good man, and he's a family man. There are competing notions of Chris Christie in the media, and we all might have our own idea of what we think of him. But according to the New York Times, there's a publicist who traveled with him during some of this past rehabilitation campaign and said that the most natural evidence of the true Chris Christie came when he was talking about boyhood and parenting. He has 2 children. He has a son who's in college and a daughter who's also in college. And when his son was involved on the campaign with him, he said he was always just attending to his son, wanted to keep him in the loop. He wanted to be with his son. And Chris Christie also talked about how when he dropped his daughter off at college, he wanted to cry and he was having the hardest time letting her go. And so he's a man with 2 kids in college. He understands what it's like for a family to have to put their kids through college and some of the issues we may go through as just a family living in America. And he also talked about his mom and his wife and how these womanly influences have made him a better negotiator and president and expanded his mind. And so we also tend to gravitate toward a candidate who is a new type of change from what we already have. And Chris Christie has even claimed that this is why people say he should run. He's a change from Obama. He's a change from the status quo. And so far, he's proven that he can do it. And according to CBS News in 2014, he's going to ask 3 questions first. Would it be right for him to run for president? Would it be right for his family? And would it be right for the country? And so he's thinking of others first. He's not going to place himself out there if it's not right. And he's trying to show that he has substance and is a good man. And so there should be no doubt in this room that Chris Christie's rehabilitation campaign is going strongly. I've given you 3 reasons, and he's shown that so far he's been able to cross bipartisan lines, appeal to a wider faction of the populace than the stereotypical Republican. And he's also done so while serving as the head of the Republican Governors Association and embarking on a wide travel excursion to raise money for himself, cultivate donors, and set himself up with a solid foundation if he were to run for president come 2016. And so, how did I do? Was I able to redeem myself? Did you maybe forget that I came up here and tripped? That I tried to show I was knowledgeable? Tried to give myself a different image and cast the things I say in a different light for all of your minds. Now, the same thing should be done for Chris Christie. He has things he wants to say, things he wants to do, and all I do is make a mistake, but it'd be our mistake if we didn't overlook these mistakes that he has made. And so, I hope you listen to my argument before you say no to Chris Christie for 2016. Thank you.
Thank you. 8:35.
My name is Shane.
Hi, Shane.
You were very well rehearsed and well researched. It was a topic that I'm sure many of us aren't very familiar with. It was very obvious that you researched it. It was also very obvious that you incorporated the made to stick concepts into your speech. You started very unexpected. You were very credible in citing your sources that were very recent. So yeah, overall, very good job.
Good, yeah. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Nina.
Hi, Nina.
The only thing is you just were a little over time.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little less note cards. But you had it at the beginning and then you just...
I just kind of popped it out, and then it was just like a comfort,
other
and
than
then
that,
tried to stick
Yeah.
it back in.
Yeah, I appreciate that you didn't use it all the way, and so that was good. Yeah, this was a topic that is kind of unknown, and you kind of did a good job of educating everyone on Chris Christie. You didn't make too much of him locking down the bridges and all that crap,
I didn't
and
have enough time.
making too much of that. And you spent more time on him, you know, what he's done since, and trying to rehabilitate himself, and so that was good. I think that your citations with the dates were good. You could have, since you had so very many points for each of your points, you could have, had I done a better job of giving you time signals, you could have sort of cut and pasted and cut some of these out. But visiting the donors, showing him that he's a family man, showing that he's got a temper, I am what I am, you know, I'm going to be what I'm going to be, was all. We got a good portrait of him. It wasn't like the sugar-coated one, is what I'm trying to say, which I appreciated. You wanted to be more enthusiastic, which I think you were. You wanted to use your note card as little as possible and not be stiff and rigid with your body movement.
I just thought, because I
Let
moved
things
around last
flow.
time, but I just thought I looked a little stiff when I watched myself in videos.
Yeah, I think you were a little bit, and I love the unexpected in the beginning of tripping. I thought you were going to do a thing about Jerry.
I realized because, like, when I was in Comm 1, it'd be easy to get up here and, like, just start. But the way we do it, where I stand here and then I'm like, hi, I'm Christy. Like, I was like, how am I going to trip? So it was just, like, awkward to do it. But if I would have, like, walked up here and just started, like, it would have been fine. But the way we do it.
There was a president that did a lot of tripping, Gerald Ford. I don't know if you knew that, but he was known for falling down all the time. And so I thought you were going to do some sort of comparison with Gerald Ford, but you didn't. But overall, you did a nice job, except for being much too long.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next. Tape is rolling.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, my speech is going to answer a question.
Come forward a
Is
little.
Texas' new abortion law harming women's health in the Lone Star State? You probably noticed the word abortion in this question. And you are probably thinking right now, this girl is crazy. How dare her to choose a topic in abortion? Well, this was exactly my thought last Friday when I was preparing this speech. And at that time, I really wanted to call my mother, who was back in China, and told her, Mom, you're right. Never talk about abortion or healthcare with Americans. However, what doesn't kill you left you a story to tell. So today, I would like to tell you a story about how the Texas new abortion law truly harm women's health, even though its alleged purpose is exactly the opposite. So first, I would like to give you a brief background of what this abortion law really is. It majorly controls 3 controversial regulations in this law. The first one, it requires all the doctors to get a certification who practice abortion in the clinics in a nearby big hospital, and requires all the clinics to invest more money into their improvement of the facility and environment. That sounds fair, right? And the second one is it bans all women from getting abortion after 20 weeks of pregnancy. And also it requires all women to get ultrasound examination 24 hours ahead of their abortion. Third, which is the most absurd in my opinion, it requires all women to see the ultrasound photo of their forming baby, and also require them to listen to the education of the doctor just before their abortion. So I would like to give you 3 reasons of why I think, based on these 3 regulations, this law is truly harming women's health. My first reason is that this law is actually banning women from getting accessible and direct abortion, and sometimes make them to travel a long way, and often leaving a hotel the night before their abortion. This law is supposed to standardize the abortion business. However, it actually kills the business. After this law has been implemented, 13 clinics has closed in Texas, and there are only 8 clinics left. All those 8 clinics are located in the big cities of Texas, such as Austin and Houston, which means that women who are always poor women live outside those cities cannot get direct abortion. According to New York Times, published in November 23rd, one of the women have to travel 300 miles to get to the nearest abortion clinics. The other has to pay $3,500 for her transportation and living fee just because the goddamn law requires her to have an ultrasound examination 24 hours ahead of her abortion. So does traveling such a long way and living in an unsanitary hotel environment truly improve women's health? Definitely no. And when women are inaccessible to hospital abortion, they'll find other ways to do their abortion, which leads to my second point. Women will get pill abortion, which is actually illegal in Texas. The pill abortion is not accessible in daily life. You can only get a pill from the doctors who prescribe it to you. However, nothing is illegal in Texas. Because of its big drug smuggling country, Mexico, you can basically get whatever you want at the border. And the woman sometimes can get a pill for the abortion more easily at the border rather than to travel a long way and to get the typical hospital abortion. However, this pill abortion poses a high risk on women's health. Besides from some typical phenomena such as heavy vomiting or painful cramp, it also leads to women to get heavy bleeding because of this abortion. And also, this pill make women to visualize their dead child after they use this. According to New York Times, published in November 23, 2013, a woman was acknowledged that her child did not develop a neurological system, and she decided to get abortion because that child was supposed to die. And her doctor prescribed that pill to her, and she used it. After she used it, when she peed, she found a golf ball-like gray thing in the toilet. And that was her dead child. She cried as hell beside the toilet. And it's after that the doctor came into the restroom and handled all this thing properly. However, that laid a profound and long-term trauma on her mental health. And here comes my third point. The Texas new abortion law not only prevents women from getting convenient abortion and also from getting a safe abortion instead of the pill abortion, they also make the woman to have a long-term trauma because of the law and the society behind the law. The society who support this law is actually this year's lay heavy burden on women who decided to get abortion. According to New York Times again, a woman described her abortion process as following. When she go to the abortion clinics, she saw a slogan on the wall. You don't need birth control, you need self-control. And when she go into the clinics, she saw a 14-year-old pregnant girl crying heavily beside her. And she finally get the abortion done. When she went found someone to drive her home, even her best friend refused to do so. So the society simply wants this group of women who wants to get abortion to fall down on their knees and to repent for their misbehavior, even though they sometimes are the victims. Now, this law is requiring women to see their ultrasound photo of their forming baby and listen to the mandatory education of the doctor, even though the doctor sometimes always say in a cold voice because this is none of their business. How could Texas pass such a cruel law and at the same time claiming that they are protecting the women? So overall, I'll give you 3 reasons of why this Texas new abortion law truly harms women's health. From physical perspectives, it makes women to travel a long distance and live in an unsanitary hotel, and also expose them to high-risk pill abortion. From a mental perspective, it lays double burdens on women's mental health, both from the society and from the law. Fortunately, according to Huffington Post, published on October 15, 2014, the Supreme Court has repealed part of this Texas new abortion law and required the Texas government to not lay undue burden on the women who want to get abortion. So is Texas abortion law harming women's health is no longer a question anymore. The Supreme Court has in a way confirmed my assertion that it really does. And why is this significant to us? because I'm a female, you're a female, and so are you. It doesn't matter whether abortion is right or wrong. It doesn't matter whether these women are guilty or not. What does matter is that even the prisoner who commit heavy crime in the prison, if they get serious illness, they will be directly delivered to the doctor and get medical care. However, this group of women, who are the most frail group of our people, is now preventing from getting direct abortion, from getting direct health care, and from being healthy. We are actually depriving them of their basic human living rights. So right now, I really want to call my mother, who was back in China, and tell her, Mom, I do not dodge this topic today. And right now, I'm standing here, appeal to people. Let's give everyone their basic human rights. Thank you.
Thank you. 8:05. We're up here, I think, aren't we? Oh, we're here, yeah.
I'm Justin.
Hi, Justin.
Your passion was very powerful, and your humor, I like your humor. Your emotional storytelling was also really effective.
Yeah.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
The only thing I could kind of think of was like the story you gave in the middle about the woman peeing and the baby was kind of graphic, so like I only could think of that as your story went on, but other than that, it was great.
Yeah.
You got your point across. Don't worry.
Yeah, we've had this problem over the years. Students have wanted to bring in pictures of vacuuming and it's just ugly. The sign, you need self-control, not birth control, is just the biggest bad joke in the world, I thought. Liz, you've really improved over the quarter. You're no notes, and you knew your speech, and your passion was excellent. You followed the prompt nicely. You had a good, significant statement. You mostly cited your evidence and the years. Occasionally you forgot. You didn't give me a bibliography, which I would have liked. You relied heavily on the New York Times and the Huffington Post, which isn't my idea of a high credibility source, but that's debatable. Other than that, you said don't look down at the ground, don't sway your body and move around too much, and be persuasive and compassionate on this topic rather than aggressive. How did it go?
I think I did it.
Yeah, I think you did it too. Thank you. Yeah, you can get that. Okay, next. We're out of time. Who's left? Who still has an Extemp left? Can you come to my office hours? Can you come now to my lab? Who can do that? Yeah.
How long do you have for that?
I have an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
Can we all do it?
Yeah, we can all do it. You what?
I have class, but if I can go first, I can get it done.
Yeah, great. Okay, good. Let's retreat. Yeah, we're leaving here. Yeah, there's another class.
Where's your office?
We're going to try to do it in the Comm Studies conference room, which is the second floor of Rolf, which is over there. Did I get, where did Trish, did I get my sign up back? Did you have my sign up? Oh, I didn't get it.
It's over here.
Did you sign up for an impromptu? You signed up for a group of three.
Yeah.
You understand that, right? I will pick one of the three that you speak for. It's up to you. No notes.
But and we're not giving you.
And I haven't heard from you on the brief.
Okay. So we don't turn anything in on the impromptu?
No.
Okay, you just kind of sit and observe?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then can I ask what I got on the speech?
You passed.
That's great.
If you wait till next week when I'll bring my computer in and you can look at the grades skewed across.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Same to you.
I wasn't here last class.
What is this?
The thing we just submitted last class. I wasn't here last week.
Oh, this is your midterm?
Yeah.
Okay, late. Midterm. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, thank you.
Professor Miller?
Yes?
I sent you an email about one topic, but I haven't heard back yet. Would you just review it now? Is that okay?
Would I what?
Would you just review it now? Is that okay?
No, I want to do it by email.
Okay,
You have a
sure.
Yahoo account?
Gmail.
And I didn't answer you? What was the topic? I can't believe this.
The United States federal government should not continue to subsidize attempts to harvest solar and wind energy.
What? Should not
Should not.
continue
Yeah.
to subsidize. Didn't they already, isn't that scheduled to run out anyway? Isn't that scheduled to run out anyway?
Right, but the point is they could renew it.
They could renew it, so you don't want them to renew it. Okay. Can you carry this? Can you carry this?
Yeah.
Are you coming?
Yeah. So I already gave my speech, but I actually had another question. I could wait until people do their speeches.
Okay.